witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, ladies? How y'all doing? Welcome to Mocha's Ladies Lounge, where we serve shots of wisdom and we toast for growth. Welcome to the lounge where we vent and where we vibe. Hope everybody's doing okay. It's been so much going on, y'all. When I said God has been definitely blessing my business abundantly, I've been working so much. I've been getting so much clientele. I've been getting a lot of people to pass my family violence intervention program successfully. So I'm glad that I can be a blessing to so many people and actually give them something from the program to actually, make an impact on their life. So definitely want to thank God and praise the Most High for that. But y'all, I definitely want to get into this. Let's get it popping, right? I'm going to end up having to make this a series because there's so much that entails with this, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but honey, it has been a high population in the downfall for these high value men. These high value men with low standards, honey. And they've just been fumbling terribly. It's been controversy after controversy, and it started with Diddy, and it's been going down here ever since. A lot of these high value men have been getting exposed. Some of these high value men, we know them as celebrities. Others, were just guys that wasn't well known as far as celebrity status, but they put themselves in a position in which they got a viral moment that ultimately ended up making them meet the demise of their marriages and their careers. So we got a lot to talk about, honey, because listen, we always hear about high value men, money, status, power, but what happens when those same men keep making low standard choices in love, loyalty, and legacy? From cheating scandals to shady decisions. Let's talk about how power doesn't always come with emotional intelligence, y'all. So, what happened to leadership? Okay, from cheating scandals to billion-dollar downfalls. The truth is, power doesn't equal wisdom, and status doesn't guarantee character, y'all. So, what is it about these million-dollar men, right? We've been hearing all the controversy surrounding Jay-Z, and we're going to kind of go into a couple of these things as we go on, right? But let's just kind of focus a little bit on the basis of what is the mental reasoning behind these high value men with low standards. What is their logical reasoning? How do they comprehend with making these bad decisions? Please hit that like button if you haven't already. And like I told all of you, please subscribe to the channel. I don't have a specific time when I'm going to be doing my shows because I just have so much with my business and my crafting. So in order for y'all to be in the loop and not miss out on anything, listen, y'all just gonna have to hit the notification bell. Make sure the notification bell is on all and not personalized. That way when I do my pop-ups, you will be in the loop. Because I'm like the IRS, honey. Y'all never know when I'm going to come. I can't give y'all a specific time anymore because every time I do, it just never works out. So hey, y'all just got to go with the flow of how I'm doing things until I find a way to level this out, right? But y'all sisters who got y'all own business, I know y'all can feel where I'm coming from, right? But let's get into this, right? So let's talk about why high value men lack judgment. Okay, so as I said, it's definitely been a lot of bad blood billion-dollar downfalls, right, with all of these different men that I have on my thumbnail. And I'm going to talk about the controversy surrounding Jay-Z, controversies surrounding Shannon Sharp, and we know Diddy, who's been rejected for bail more than a fat girl at a prom. And then we have, you know, because they all come in different colors and statuses and whatnot, because let's face it, it's not just specific men, it's men of all color, of all status. We have Mr. Andy Byron, the big time CEO, former CEO, who lost his $1 million empire over a little Debbie oatmeal pie. Okay, so we're going to talk about all of that, right, and how it gets to this. So let's first talk about the reasons, right? Please make sure y'all hit that like button. Anything I say in this content is based off of my own opinion. This is my disclaimer. This is for fair use. It's just for educational and entertainment purposes only. If I have any moms in the building, thank you for coming in, holding it down with the wrench. For those of you who are just coming in, please join the family. It's not going to cost you no money unless you want to become a member, right? Also, I got to do some more Unhinged series. So, y'all, I got so much catching up to do. I'm praying and praying, asking God for balance, because Lord knows I need it. Y'all pray for me. Please pray for me to get balance so I can get some structure into my vlogging, right? So, the first thing is they're rewarded for power, not emotional maturity, okay? This is the problem with a lot of high value men. And let's first off, what is high value men? Some of y'all may be familiar with that, and some of y'all may not. High value men is men of high value as far as their status, as far as their income, as far as their success, right? Has little, really zero to do with their level of intelligence, their integrity, their morals. That is a separate entity. And we are in a world today in which a lot of millionaires, billionaires, people who have substantial amount of money, they've been able to get away with so much, but slowly but surely the tides are turning, and God is allowing all of these celebrities that we idolize and we worship, he's allowing them to be exposed, because God is getting sick and tired of all these fanatics, you know, these individuals who are so starstruck on so many levels, to where they act like these celebrities can't do no wrong. They act like these high value men are not capable of having sick fetishes, like as if because a high value man, and when I say value, I'm not talking about morals and character. I'm talking about what the world perceives as money and status, right? And we like to minimize their integrity. If there's a bum in the street that's, you know, taking advantage of children, you know, we want to scam, we want to ridicule him. If it's somebody that's unattractive, somebody that's not making no money, that's making these type of decisions, we really want to come down hard on them. We really want to light the fire to them. But when it comes to men of high value like Jay-Z and Diddy and Shannon Sharp and all of them, we have more mercy. We have more grace for them. Why is that? Why so much grace for men like Chris Brown? You know, who have done a lot of unethical things to women, and yet women are still crazy about him. I'm not gonna lie, I'm crazy about Chris Brown. Maybe I'm a little toxic too, you feel me? But nevertheless, I would not want him for my man, and he probably wouldn't be checking for me like that either, right? But let's face it, we have selective grace, right? We give certain people grace who we like, who we support, and who we idolize. And that is why God has gotten to this place in which he knows that a lot of us are so carnal minded. We only believe in what we see, and we underestimate people. We make them bigger than what they are. And God is a jealous God, and what he's doing is he's allowing these individuals that we idolize and we worship, he's allowing them to get exposed. So when we talk about The high value men, they're rewarded for power, not emotional maturity. Society praises them for winning, not for healing. Okay, it was so many people who was riding hard for Diddy. I saw it, y'all saw it, we see it all the time. Okay, making all of these excuses. His victims wanted it, they was well aware, you know, as if men on this level are not a threat to their victims. Many instances, a victim, you better go along with it, you better enjoy it, you better act like you like it, because going against the grain when it comes to dealing with the emotional damage that's coming behind getting involved with a high value man that lacks low morals, it can really become a detriment to your health. A lot of women who have been abused, they will comply. They will smile on the red carpet. They will participate in the freak-offs and do all of that. Why? That is because they fear their high-value man. And let's face it, a lot of these high-value men, not all, if it doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. I don't believe in putting all men in the same box, but I'm saying for the most part, most of them, the higher they are, the less values that they have for the world, the less respect they have for women. You know, it's like the bigger the ego, you know, the lower, you know, the respect, if that makes sense. You know, it seems like once they get elevated and they climb the ladder, they just really feel invincible, like they can do what they want to do and there's no real repercussions, there's no real consequences. So, you know, a lot of people were really dragging Cassie, dragging a lot of the individuals who was complying, not understanding that, hey, when you're dealing with men like this, they have a lot of power. They can ruin you. So just because, you know, women who hang around these men are not acting abused, not looking abused, they're acting like they're enjoying it, they're sipping bottles at the VIP with them, you know, they're participating in the freak-offs, it does not mean that they're enjoying it. It's plenty of women who have been abused can tell you. You're not going to walk around looking abused with your head down, with, you know, crying in a bucket of tears. Being with an abuser, you learn to put on poker face, because that is what the abuser expects. A couple of content creators have posted videos in which when Cassie was doing interviews and Diddy was right there, the way he would look at that girl when she would answer certain questions, like, you better not answer that. Now, some of y'all slow. The way Beyonce would answer certain questions when she was much younger, dating Jay-Z, she was really, really, like, in a frenzy in a sense, you know, when they would ask her certain questions and Jay-Z would be right there. It's called, ladies, being able to read the room. Only women who have experienced that level of manipulation or who have encountered abuse, they can recognize it. In the field that I do, family violence intervention program, I deal with individuals who are not who are not particularly victims, but they are the offenders. And the offenders, those who actually commit domestic violence, they train, program, and condition their victims to go with the flow. No matter how miserable, no matter how sad, no matter how depressed they are, an abused woman will still have sex with her husband, not because she with her abuser. Let me back that up. An abused woman will still have sex with her abuser, not because she enjoys the dick, not because she loves him, but because she's been conditioned that my abuser is my master and whatever he says, I have to do it. Now, even more so when that high value abusive man is the one that is supporting her financially. And this is why it is very important for women to have your own business, make your own money, have your own everything. Because especially these high value men who make all of this money, they prey on women that are in poverty. They prey on women who come from abused households. They prey on women who are lonely. They prey on women who are thirsty enough to be on the arms of a celebrity man, regardless of how abusive or toxic he is, right? Another thing is nobody tells them no, so they never learn limits. Listen, y'all boy Diddy has been catching hell these last couple of weeks. He has been fighting to get bond, and he's been denied over and over and over and over. Your boy Jay-Z, same thing. He's been fighting to not have to take this paternity test with Ramir, which speaks a lot of volumes. Y'all can say what you want to say, but I feel like Ramir is his son, and if it's proven to be wrong, I will take that back. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to take it back, because if it's not his son, I'm going to always believe Jay-Z paid the rig to test some type of way, because Jay-Z is very nasty, he's very low down, and I believe he will do anything to protect his false marriage and false image with Beyonce in his empire. I believe he is ruthless, and there's a reason he's dodging this young man, and he's been dodging him repetitively, to the point to where the young man just wants the truth, and he has filed a complaint against Ramir, which has been dropped, by the way, of harassment. Basically saying Ramir is harassing him. Now, if y'all are not hip to the game, the fact that Jay-Z is saying this young man is harassing him, that speaks volumes. When you can make the harassment go away by simply taking a test. No, you want him to go away. Let me break this down. First of all, when it comes to harassment, some people use the word harassment because that means you're trying to make them face their truth. And because you're trying to make them face their truth, they will say that you're harassing them. Okay? Put that in your pipe and smoke it, all right? So, if it wasn't true, you would simply just take the test. You wouldn't have to go through all the shenanigans. This Ramir had to go through 8 judges, and all 8 judges have denied him of the paternity test. Why? Because we know Jay-Z, the high value man, he's paying these judges off. Okay, he's paying them hush money, and this is the thing. That's why Diddy has been fighting so hard to get out of jail, because they're not used to being told no. They're used to having yes men. Jay-Z finally has met his match, because there's a judge who is mandating him to take this test to answer. And this man is not used to having to answer to a damn thing. After all, he done had 8 judges pass up Ramir's complaints, right? And Ramir is also fighting those who did not answer to his request. So Ramir is not playing the radio, which is a strong indication that he may very well be Jay-Z's son, because he's relentless just like Jay-Z. He will not back down just like Jay-Z. So just his character and his nature shows me that he could very well be Jay-Z's son, because he's not backing up. He's not fearful. He's not afraid of him. And something tells me Jay-Z knows if this young man is proven to be his son, that is going to discredit everything that he's built so hard to this point. But back to the point, I digress, right? They're not used to being told no. That is why Diddy has not once but twice been trying to get Trump to pardon him. The man is not used to answer to anything. He's not used to consequences. He's not used to being denied. He's not used to being told no. Okay? Most high-value men are not used to being denied, not used to being deprived. No different than Shannon Sharp. Okay? And that's a part of it, these high-value men. Just because you can't afford something, just because you have the power to do something, it doesn't mean you need to do it, and it does not mean you need to take advantage of every offer, okay? But the high value man, his reasoning is, and his way of thinking is, because I'm high value, I make all of this money, I got this high position, I can do what I want to do. But let me tell you something, being able to do whatever you want to do is dangerous, whether you're a man or a woman. Be grateful that you're not a millionaire. Some of us don't need to be millionaires, because if we had the privilege of being a millionaire, a lot of us would be making a lot of bad choices. Some of us need to struggle to maintain our common sense. Some of us need to struggle in order to taking account that we are not in the position to take major losses because we can't afford losses. So sometimes being in the struggle, it keeps you in reality. The problem with the high value man, anytime you're dealing with a person that's used to making millions, he's used to having a bunch of yes men around him, he's used to having people cater to him, his maid, his stylist, his mistress, his call girl, his limo driver. He's so used to having the world and everything granted to him. He's used to being catered to, that now when it's time to answer to some real life situations, he don't know how to cope with it, because this is a man that's not used to consequences. And if you think about it, high value men are always trying to run away from reality. Same thing with your boy over here. Andy, I keep forgetting his last name. Andy, the CEO here, Andy Byron. Same thing. This man was a millionaire CEO of an industry in which they work with a lot of IA technology. It was called astronomer or something. So, but it was a very huge corporation. Just him being a CEO, that already speaks volumes. The man was making buku money. But the problem with that was, it gave him, like a lot of these other high value men, it gave him this sense of entitlement. And just because you're entitled to everything, it doesn't mean you should take up on everything. Some things are not good for you to take up on. Like if you're in the struggle, certain things you're not going to do it because you know you can't afford it. Like you're not just going to go out there and buy a brand new car all willy-nilly because you just make enough to make ends meet, to pay your rent, your mortgage, whatever. So you have to logically think about things before you do it because you don't have the money. Well, see, the problem with the high value man is because they have the money, they don't think, they just do. They put their desires before their common sense. They put their selfishness on before their future. Because when you are in a position like that, you don't feel like you have to answer to anything. You don't feel like you never will have to answer to anything. And the dangerous part about it is when it is time to answer to something, they cannot handle it. Like Jay-Z, I don't trust him. I believe he will take his own alleged son out if he feels like it's going to become a threat to his empire and to his marriage. But I tell you this much, right now, he knows, because Jay-Z's not a dummy. Obviously, that's how he got this far in life as far as with his success in career and whatnot. But he knows he cannot take Ramir out right now. It just would be too obvious, right? Even if he sent one of his goons on a mission. Jay-Z is smart enough to know, damn, I cannot put my hands on this son of a gun that won't leave me the hell alone. Okay, I want to just move on with my life, my beautiful wife, you know, because there's a lot of ugly things that can happen, right? But the whole bottom line is this: they don't like being told no. Nobody has never taught them their limits. Okay, all right, to much is given, much is required. A lot of people don't mind making all the money. They don't mind getting all the notoriety. They don't mind getting all the success. But you have a lot you got to be responsible for at the same token. So that's the thing. Too much is given, much is required. So you have to really be careful. You have way more to lose compared to the average poverty pookie. They're used to controlling outcomes, but you can't negotiate with consequences. Absolutely. All of these guys that I have on my thumb, they are learning that right now. They're used to controlling outcomes, used to paying people off, used to paying people to go away, to hush, be quiet, or pay a hitman to do your dirty work, to knock off individuals that's going to become a problem. Okay, but the detriment is what they're finding out, even their millions can't negotiate the consequences. Like I tell all of my participants in my class, yes, by law as an adult, you can do what you want to do. You can choose to do anything you want to do. But what you would not be able to choose is the consequences, is the outcome. That part you will not get to dictate. Even if you have the money to make it go away, things are not going to always go the way you want it to go just because you make the money to make it disappear. Now, this is another issue with the high value men and why they lack judgment. They mistake access for intimacy. Just because you can have anyone doesn't mean you should. Nobody knows that better than Shannon Sharp, who was forewarned by Monique and Cat Williams, stay away from those snowflakes. But see, that is his little sick mandingo fetish behind all the millions. And listen, nothing is more dangerous for a millionaire man than his sick personal fetishes. Fetishes and immoral sexual desires will take a millionaire high value man down quicker than the meth would take down the meth head. You cannot have all these millions and you're not healed from your sexual demonic perversions. You cannot have all of these millions and you have unhealthy sexual desires, because your money is going to tell you to feed that desire, no matter how sick it is, no matter how unhealthy it is. Shannon Sharp has a sick fetish when it comes to the snowflakes. Something about snowflakes, they just arouse him. But what a lot of these high value men are finding out the hard way is that the very thing that will arouse you will devour you. That's not an awesome word, y'all. The very thing that will arouse you will devour you. Please make sure you hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. I would gladly appreciate it. Big ups to all my mods. Big ups to all my A1s from day ones coming in. I appreciate y'all. And again, all of this is pre-recorded, but I'm most likely in the chat room, hanging out in a lounge and all of that with you guys, with you ladies in the chat, right? So, yeah. Your sexual perversions will make you meet your demise. The man had a sick fetish for snowflakes. And he knows good damn well that the law does not take too keen to these brothers getting involved with these snow bunnies. Listen, you got a lot of these judges, okay? Think about it. A lot of these judges are up in their age. They're in their 70s, 80s, right? So, some of these Clorox, and I'm going to say that correctly, YT, these non-colored individuals who have the fates of our outcome in their hands within the judicial system. If you don't think they don't have a problem with high-value black men even being involved with their snow bunnies, so the moment your case comes before the judge, he's already feeling some type of way. Make no mistake about it. You have a lot of these judges up in their age and they still got that Jim Crow mentality. And a lot of these high value black men, they don't understand that. You don't put yourself in a position with these snowflakes and you have to be dealt with through the judicial system, because they are going to look out for the snowflakes. And you would think these high value men that's 50 and up would understand and know how that operates. Shannon Sharp just paid for that 23-year-old plain Jane snowflake to retire already, and she's only 23. Now he's at an age where he should have been retiring, just enjoying life, traveling, going on vacation, and the man keeps getting lawsuits. He got another lawsuit coming up. Okay, has another lawsuit coming up with you know how Usher does his shows where he likes to feed the ladies cherries and stuff. Well, one of the ladies on there who was fed a cherry, he did a commentary on her, basically calling the lady hoes, calling her names, and she's suing him for defamation of character. So he's gonna have to deal with that too. 9 times out of 10, she's gonna get her bag. What these high value men don't understand is, once you've been exploited for one thing, it gives everybody else who you did in the confidence to come forth and finally exploit you. Jay-Z not only has to deal with Ramir, he has these Rock Nation lawsuits. Nicki Minaj is going at him hard because she's saying how Jay-Z is blackballing a lot of the artists behind closed doors. And I know Nicki is crazy, but I do believe that he does that. He is that type of ninja. He will silently assassinate you. Jay-Z is the silent assassinator. He will go for the gusto and do it so discreetly. Well, where no one will really notice it. And he's very dangerous. Jay-Z is more dangerous than Diddy, and that's my personal opinion. Because Jay-Z is very quiet. He's very strategic. He's a street dude. You got to remember, Jay-Z is from Marcy Projects, Brooklyn, New York, baby. He's still that hood ninja. The hood ninja has not left the building, even behind all those expensive Armani suits, right? Next is, many chase women to feed ego, not connection. You have to realize a lot of these high value men, if you know them from way back when they was poverty pookies, women were not checking for him. Kevin Hart is a prime example of messing with multiple women. He has had multiple affairs on his wife Aniko, and we know that a lot of that is self-esteem issues. A lot of these guys came up with nothing, right? And I don't knock anybody who's come from poverty and who has finally arrived into their journey of success. But the problem is now, once you have arrived into that journey of success and you're making all of these millions, now you start to use women like they are toys, like they're something to play with. You have to realize, Shannon Sharp, Jay-Z, Diddy, a lot of these guys were not the cat's meow. Okay? You don't believe it? Go do your research. You will see Jay-Z, Shannon Sharp, Diddy, they were not that pleasing to the eye. Okay? Neither was Andy. Andy looked like an old Harry Potter from back in the day. A lot of these guys was not the it guys that women were checking for back in the day. So now that they are making money, they got all the success, this is their time to get revenge, to smash as many women as they want to smash, to get back at all the women who ever denied them, whoever rejected them, that never gave them the time of day. So now that they're making this money, they can invest into their looks, they can invest into their lifestyle with expensive cars, with expensive homes. They make enough money now to where they could produce this high value package, right? They make enough money where they could get their teeth fixed, where they could get a personal stylist, where they could wear the best of suits and all of that. And because of that, now they have the advantage of being able to use women. Why? Because women, the problem with a lot of women is women are very starstruck and they are very thirsty to to become a trophy wife of the millionaire life. They desire that. So they will make themselves open. They will make themselves available to the $1 million men with dollar store values, because again, it's all about hoping that they'll be the last woman standing to share this lifestyle. But the truth of the matter is, most high value men are very selfish. That goes for the single and the married men, because it's this attitude of, I got options. And I would always say this, I believe a man is only as faithful as his options. The more options, the less chances of him being faithful, okay? The next thing is they confuse validation with loyalty until they get exposed. These men will stunt and flex like they got all this integrity, like they're so loyal, like they're stand-up dudes, and baby, when the grits hit the fan, they will run away quicker than a slave from a plantation. One thing about high value men is they hate exposure. Andy Byron is the CEO on the end there, former CEO, the last one next to Diddy. He had the audacity to want to sue Coldplay, okay? Coldplay was the band who unknowingly just so happened placed the sky cam Well, they didn't do it, but you know, somebody in the staff did it, and he just jokingly like said, "Hey, what's up? Look at these two over here. Either they're having an affair or they shy from the camera." Okay, and now instead of taking accountability, he wants to blame Coldplay, the band leader, basically stating that his business should have been private and he should have not been exploited. But the irony of it though is he brought his side chick, his advertiser, he brought her in public to a public event, which was the Coldplay concert. And because he has gotten exposed, he wants to sue Coldplay. See, this is how these high value men do. They refuse to take accountability. They're going to make somebody pay for their mess. Okay? Diddy has been paying all kind of people to try to convince the judge. Even one of the witnesses that was supposed to speak against him, he talked this Asian bird brain into sending the judge a letter asking the judge to consider giving him bond. Now, listen, what in the hell makes you think you sending a letter to the judge is going to make the judge consider bond when even Diddy's own lawyers was not even able to convince the judge to consider a bond? That judge is not playing the radio. He don't give a damn. He don't care nothing about integrity or none of that, and I so love it. And he was like, hell no. But see, Diddy is the puppet master. A person who's not strong enough to think for themselves, or are they thirsty, or they easily to be manipulated by a dollar, they will do anything Diddy says do. For her to come out like that, out the blue, 9 times out of 10, he paid her or he threatened her. And a lot of these high value men, they do that. They will pay to get you knocked off if they feel that you may become you may play a part in them getting exposed. They will get rid of you, honey. They will. They're surrounded by enablers. This goes back to that concept of yes men, right? Like I've been telling y'all about. PR teams, homeboys, business partners. What about these thirsty ass females? Everyone protects the bag, not the man's souls. Accountability is rare when people depend on your status to survive. Listen, a lot of people were acting like they don't understand why Diddy's victims wouldn't come forward sooner. Why everybody, all the security guards, why the chef, why the maid, why the bank teller, why is everybody exposing Diddy now? Why nobody said something before? It's common sense. Anytime you're dealing with someone who has a lot of power, who you know can pay goons to be sent to your front door. Nobody felt comfortable exposing Diddy until Diddy got locked up because they felt safer. Ain't no way in hell people was going to come forward with Diddy being out and free, knowing Diddy can send his goons, because everybody knows Diddy played a part, and I'm going to say alleged, in Tupac's death and in Biggie's death. Soon as Biggie died, all of a sudden this man starts coming all the way on out with his own album. Diddy is all for himself. A lot of people feared him. Diddy had it to where anybody who ever made him mad or crossed him, he had a lot of power where he could get you blackballed. Absolutely. Jay-Z has done the same thing. That's why Nicki Minaj is blasting him, because she basically said behind closed doors, Jay-Z has done a lot of filthy, foul things to hurt people from being able to prosper. And that is why slowly but surely the dirt he's thrown on other people, that dirt is catching up with him, because Jay-Z has done a lot of dirty deeds. And let's just say this, listen, karma doesn't have to come back just for things that you're doing currently, right? Jay-Z could be getting karma based off of the things he did back in his dope boy days. There's no telling who he probably unalived, you know, who he robbed, you know, the women he took advantage of. Sometimes karma doesn't have an expiration date. Some of us are still paying for things that we did when we was 18, 19 years old. Unless you repent, your karma is going to keep making its way, right? Also, they use success to justify bad behavior. I provide, so don't question me. Absolutely. Jay-Z, Diddy, a lot of these men, high value men, money has always been their leverage. Either they're going to pay you to put in work, they're going to pay you to fulfill their demonically perverse sexual desires. They're going to pay you to knock somebody off. They're going to pay you to exterminate a problem. One thing about the high value men, they feel like as long as they provide, you are supposed to always be on their side. Don't question me. The moment you start questioning them, the moment you start demanding them, if you want to piss the high value man off, piss him off by going against what he's paying you to do. Start questioning him about his motives. Now you got problems. The high value man admires his power. He thrives off of that. And part of his power is being a provider. So therefore, they are not going to tolerate by any circumstances anybody question them a damn thing about anything. It's not going to happen. That's why Jay-Z is going ham, even though he's trying to pretend like he's cool, calm, and collective. It is killing his spirit that Ramir is fighting him back. The high value man does not like people standing up to them. Shannon Sharp thought he can pay that little Debbie Snow Bunny away, and she was like, hell no, I'ma expose you and then still have you pay me. Diddy has tried everything under the sun. He has bribed jurors. He has he went so far as to him and Jay-Z did it. They went so far as to getting someone to dig into the judge's personal life just to see if there's any flaws or any mishaps in which they can discredit those in high positions. Jay-Z did that. When the first Jane Doe came out, he had the audacity to try to dig dirt on her lawyer. This is how grimy and dirty. A lawyer is doing their job. A lawyer is supposed to defend his client and dig up your dirt and expose you. Well, because the high value man like Jay-Z thinks he's above the law, he forgot that, and he had the audacity to challenge Busby, somebody who knows the law. Jay-Z don't know the law. Jay-Z knows how to spend money and run the law. He don't know the law, and he met his match because Busby got it thrown right out the window. And that's the problem with the high value man. He knows he doesn't know everything, but he feels like whatever the hell I don't know, I can still pay somebody to do it for me. That's how they think, right? Also, as I stated, accountability is rare when people depend on your status. A lot of people was depending on these guys, you know, and they know it. And that's why they never took accountability on anything. These dudes are paying off mistresses. They're paying off goons. They're paying off security. A lot of people have been paid to be quiet. You know, and as much as people want to judge and be like, why none of these people came forward? Listen, a lot of y'all are on jobs right now where you know your supervisor is doing some underhanded stuff to other employees. You know your manager. You know it's a lot of dirty stuff going on your job. But because you don't want to lose your job, guess what? You keep your mouth closed. So as much as we like to judge all of these victims and everybody who would not rat and expose Jay-Z, Diddy, and all these other guys because they were depending on him. Mr. Byron right here. A lot of people knew that him and Kristen, his the lady he was having an affair with, they knew. Everybody in his company knew he was messing around on his wife. But guess what? Who in the hell is going to say something knowing you're going to lose your job? As hard as times are, people got mortgages, people got to pay for their kids to go to school. Nobody's not going to tell on these powerful people. And that's basic common sense. I don't know why people are feeling such a with it. Well, everybody didn't come forward. Why are they snitching? Why are they saying something now? These people was responsible for a lot of people's payroll. And that's why they're getting their payday. God don't like ugly, honey. He's not thrilled about pretty, and he ain't thrilled about ugly either. And that's why all of them are getting exposed, right? Here's some other reasons why these high-value men lack judgment. They use success. Okay, I already said that. The other part I didn't say was, as I mentioned before, they use success to justify bad behavior. I already told y'all about I provide, so don't question me. They don't like being questioned. The other element is, look at what I've built. Because they have an empire, because these individuals have built an entrepreneurship, just based off of what they have built and accomplished, that makes them feel vindicated in being able to mistreat people, and that is their justification for lack of morals and lack of integrity. I built all these careers. Jay-Z built a lot of careers. I will give him that. So did Diddy. He built a lot of careers. Shannon Sharp was building a lot of celebrities with his show by giving them the opportunity to be on his platform, which was really huge and doing phenomenally well. And so did Andy. But a lot of people who dealt with these individuals behind closed doors, they got some horror stories to tell you. A lot of Andy's employees, which is the white guy, a lot of his employees then came forward ever since he got exposed for cheating on his wife, and they said he was always a nasty character behind closed doors. He didn't know how to talk to people. He didn't know how to treat people. He was nasty. Most high value men are nasty as hell. With that kind of money, you don't feel like you got to be polite. You don't feel like you got to be respectable. You feel like you can say what you want to say out your mouth and do what you want to do. High value does not make you more. Being a high value man doesn't make you value and respect others highly. It just doesn't. You could be a high value man and still not respect others highly. Absolutely. Because look at what I built. Look at what I accomplished. I don't have to respect anybody. I don't have to humble myself to anybody, because I am the reason this empire has succeeded. But providing financial security doesn't excuse emotional chaos or betrayal. As I stated, most high value men, they think their money is everything. And it's the reason why these high value men, a lot of their wives tolerate so much off of them, because of their money. This is the reason why mistresses tolerate having to sexually always appease to them. This is the reason why people on their staff tolerate working in a hostile environment, being mistreated because of money. Money has always been the root of all evil. Not money. The way people use money makes it the root of all evil. And these guys know that. They know they can get anybody that's willing to do anything. Money attracts leeches. So people who are bloodhounds and are thirsty for a dollar, they will do anything to try to get close to the high value man, regardless of how much he mistreats them or disrespects them. Also, some other reasons, y'all, and please hit that like button, y'all, because I am definitely sharing some knowledge. I'm throwing some shots. I'm serving some shots of wisdom, y'all. If you're just coming in, I appreciate it. Again, big ups to all my mods, and please hit that like button. Another reason I value man lacks morals and discernment. They haven't healed their inner wounds. Childhood abandonment. We know Diddy, his father has not been there for him. His father was unalived when he was a young age. His father was a hot mess. His father had a reputation. Jay-Z never talks about his father. He only talks about his mother. So he's never had his father there for him. Shannon Sharp and Byron and Andy, I'm not too certain on them, but there's always some underlying issues for the high value man, and they hide behind those issues through their success, through their money, and through their ego, because they are still little boys. They still suffering from little boy trauma as grown men behind these expensive suits. Okay. Also, they fear of vulnerability. They don't like people to be in too much on anything, especially their inner weaknesses. Anybody being exposed to their weaknesses, that is a major issue for them. They do not like exposure. That's why Diddy is losing his mind. While he's in jail, it's giving so many people the free will to come out against him. They say all kind of stuff about him. They exploit all his personal inner demons, inner fetishes. The high value men are very, very private individuals. They don't want nobody exposing or knowing their inner demons. They're very secretive, y'all. High value men don't want nobody to know, even if they have a bad right knee. They don't want nobody knowing nothing about them. Absolutely. Because they feel like the moment somebody has them figured out, or the moment somebody knows something personal about them, they can use it against them. And part of being a high value man, they value power. And the only way you can maintain power is if no one knows absolutely nothing about you. Once people start learning you, learning your weaknesses, learning your fetishes, learning your sicknesses, people know how to pinpoint you, and they can use it against you to sabotage your brand, to sabotage your image, and they don't want that. Okay, they're not going to stand for it. That's why Jay-Z is fighting so hard to run from not having an answer to this DNA test. He don't want nobody knowing about his secret skeletons, his secret demons that he had hidden for so long, because he fought too hard to put up this high value image. I'm Jay-Z, the rapper, the record label owner, the husband of Beyonce. He does not want nobody knowing none of his dirty demonic deeds. But guess what? It's coming. What's done in the dark will come to the light, because guess what? Jay-Z, like many of them, have done a lot of unethical, ill things. And listen, you got people out here that are praying. They are praying for covering. They are praying for God to deal with those who have been misusing them, who have taken valuable things from them. And these individuals are going to get dealt with. It is payback. Karma is making its rounds, okay? All right. So next we have toxic masculinity passed down as normal. A lot of these high value men, there's always been someone in the background that's always pretty much co-signed and defended their fuckboy shenanigans. In most instances, it's been their mothers. In many instances, it's their fans who will defend them like these dudes paying y'all light bill. You have people outside of the courthouse rubbing oil on themselves, making a mockery out of this whole case to support Diddy. Okay? Same thing with Jay-Z. You know, his mother has been his only backbone. So we know how these high value men are when it comes to their mamas. Their mamas treat them like their Hudsons. Pretty much let them get away with everything. Let them do what they want to do. So a lot of people have allowed them to be who they are for so long. And let's face it, the wives, I will say this, the wives are guilty of it. Wives know she's married to a high value man that's promiscuous, has no respect for her as her spouse, as his children, and because she wants to still have that position as his wife and have access to that billionaire life, she will allow him to do whatever she wants to do and help him to enable his toxic masculinity behavior. And lastly, instead of healing, they build empires around their pain, then infect everyone inside of it. So in other words, instead of using their success and their accomplishments as a mean to really build people, as a mean to really uplift people, they will use their success, they will use their power, and will do the exact opposite. They will use it to use people. They will use it to manipulate people. They will use their power for people to fulfill their sexual demonic needs. They will use their power to harm other people, take other people down. They don't use their power for good. Okay? They use their power for evil. And that is the problem. And that's why sooner than later it catches up with them. So basically, to really be in conclusion of this, right, the whole reason for us discussing this was breaking down the men who have money in the bank but nothing in their moral account. Because high value doesn't mean high character, and the receipts are getting louder. So y'all, I'm going to stop it at this part right here, okay? Because we're going to go to an hour, and I know a lot of us have a short attention span, so we're going to break this up into series, y'all. So I am going to be putting out $1 Million Men Dollar Store Decisions Part 2 series. So far, let me know what y'all think about this first part, Part 1. What is y'all opinion on this? I would like to know, how do y'all feel about these high value men who think that because they have money, they don't have to be accountable with their morals, with their integrity? Also, why do you think that so many of them are getting exposed now? Leave y'all opinion below. Let me know what y'all think. If there's any other high value men y'all could think of whose ship has also sunk since their exposure, please share that with me in case I forgot to include them. So y'all, I will talk to y'all another time. And again, this is Mocha's Ladies Lounge, where we serve shots of wisdom and we toast for growth. And I will be talking to y'all later. And please hit that like button before y'all leave. Love y'all so much, and I appreciate y'all for still sticking by your girl and still supporting me regardless of what. Y'all have a blessed day. Take care. See y'all soon. Bye.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.